Hi everyone, welcome to Voice and the Alexander Technique. I'm Alison Taylor, and today we're going to be looking at the jaw. There's a longer video that includes a jaw massage and some vocalization, so be sure to tune in to that video as well. This is just a quick mapping video to talk about how the head orientation on top of the spine can influence what's happening in the jaw. So many of you are probably teaching students or are singers or voice users yourselves and have been told or are seeing in your students that there's jaw tension. So you need to relax your jaw. But something to realize is that the jaw doesn't operate just on its own in isolation. The jaw and its movement or freedom or lack of freedom is hugely influenced by what's happening in the head, neck, shoulder, torso, even how someone is balanced on their feet. So today we're just going to look at sort of this upper region, but I want you to keep in mind that what's happening up here in the head, neck, shoulder, jaw area isn't in isolation itself either. It's in direct relationship with how the whole person is operating. But with that being said, we're going to talk a little bit more today about the jaw and the head and spine orientation. So it might shock you to realize that the head weighs upwards of 12 pounds. So when the head is slightly out of balance on top of the spine, that is putting an exponential amount of pressure down onto the spine. So you may have a student who is really trying hard and sticking the head out this way. Maybe they really want you to hear them or really want to get their point across. You can already start to feel the strain in that shape. Similarly, you might have someone who has an overall collapse and see how that's going to pull the head back and down on the spine. Again, unbalancing that pressure so that we're putting more pressure and compression, boom, 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 down through the whole stature. You may also have a student who's hyper erect, like they're very upright and they're pulling the whole head back into the neck, which can draw the chest up and overly arch the back. So there's many reasons that these ways of being come into practice, and that's up for exploration with that individual student. But it might be helpful just to help that student to map this head spine area, or even to help yourself to accurately map this head spine meeting place. So often when I ask someone, can you put your hand on the top of your neck, the top of your spine? They'll go somewhere right here, or right here where they can sort of feel their skull starting and the neck part of the spine ending. But actually, Mr. Skellington here can show us that, first of all, there is no neck. What we call the neck is just an extension of the whole spine, and in fact, the top of the spine is located roughly behind the nose, or sort of behind the soft palate, like where you're yawning. That is the top of the spine. So the atlanto-occipital joint, or the point where the skull, the top of the spine goes into the base of the skull, that meeting point, that axis, is actually up there behind the nose. So just take a moment to bring your fingers just in front of your ears and use your fingertips just to move your head from that point. Even just orienting your awareness up there might even alleviate some pressure of the head and neck. So some teachers like to say, think of yourself as a bobblehead. If that's helpful for you, great. But really we just want to find that place where it's not the collapse feeling. So if you really go into a collapse now and feel ah, as you sort of vocalize there, ah, there's a pressure there. You can even hear it in my voice. And then just come to that higher location, oh, soft palate, oh, yawny space, and experiment with some vocal sounds there. Ah, hee, ha, hi. And just notice if there's any difference. It's just coming back and forth between those two experiments just to contrast and give yourself some more information. So now, the jaw. When I'm in a collapse, for example, and the head is being pulled back and down, there's a compression and a tightening through my whole stature. And this jaw is separate from my skull. So here's the skull. The jaw is actually a separate entity. And so in order for it to be able to swing from its joint, again, right up sort of at the level of the ear almost, that jaw hinge joint, way up there, in order for that to be able to swing freely, the jaw swings, the back corner of the jaw swings back towards the back of the neck, roughly. I need to have some kind of freedom up through my whole spine, as well as an awareness that my head is actually unlocking, is poised much higher than I think, in order to have some freedom in the jaw. So you can experiment with these two basic mappings that we've talked about today. One, that my head spine joint is somewhere up there behind the nose. You can even think behind the eyes, that it's sort of releasing up from there, allowing this freedom up through my whole stature, as compared with I'm in a collapse, I'm putting a downward pressure on my whole spine, which is pulling and impeding movement of my jaw. So just mapping that higher unlocking, and that the jaw hinge is in that same higher up place, almost in front of the ears, and that it swings a little bit back in order to open. But in order for that natural swing of the jaw to happen, it's really helpful to have the head poised on top of the spine and a yummy length through the whole stature. So I hope this little mapping session has been helpful. Let me know in the comments below how anything is new or interesting or different for you after watching this video, or what you're doing with your students or in your own practice to help bring ease and freedom into your own vocalization. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.